Hi guys, it's Kato Potato here. Just joking. It's Skyweb. That was awkward. My name is Skyweb and I'm gonna tell you about a true crime story that I can't get off my mind. But before I get started, I just want to put out a little disclaimer that I mean no harm to any of the victims or the victims' families, and I wish everyone who was affected by this story the utmost peace and solace. So, welcome to November. October is over, Halloween is over. Now we can get out the Christmas trees and the Christmas decorations and the Christmas carols, and I'm really excited. Since you saw me last, I managed to swallow a tongue ball. I managed to get in a fight. Someone tried to rip out my nipple piercing. And this eyelash is not on correctly. So I've had a hell of a week. But how are you guys? What are you guys doing? Did you get in any fights? Did you swallow any tongue balls? Are you listening to Christmas decorations? Did I just say listening to Christmas decorations? Where is your brain? Okay, moving on into the story. So for this one, you kind of need to buckle up because it's kind of sad. It involves three 12-year-old girls, which is insane. There really shouldn't be that many true crime stories that involves three 12-year-old girls. So I'm going to tell you about the Slender Man stabbings, which, as I said, involves three 12-year-old girls. So by now I'm pretty sure everyone knows what Slender Man is, but I'll put a photo of him up on the screen. He's a tall, creepy, stilt-looking guy. I thought he wore a top hat, but apparently he doesn't wear a top hat, so I don't know where I got that from. But he wears a suit, and apparently he's faceless, and basically he lures children into the woods or whatever. As far as I knew, Slenderman was just a game that you play on your computer at school when you don't want to do your math work or something. I didn't know that it was this whole big thing. But basically the whole crime sort of revolves around Slender Man, and apparently he has little tentacle things that come out of his back and eat children, and he has a mansion in the woods. Basically these two 12-year-old girls from Wisconsin, Anissa Weir and Morgan Geyser. It's okay, she's a psycho. She's a murderer. Well, she's not a murderer. She was almost a murderer, so I guess it doesn't matter if I fuck up her name because you tried to kill someone, so that's fine, we're even. Basically these two girls believed, or so they claimed to have believed, in Slender Man, and they thought that he had a mansion in the woods and he was recruiting people to be part of his army and to live in his mansion and to get all of his goods and fortunes. I can literally see my eyelash hanging off. These things have been through a lot this weekend, so if it falls off, we're just gonna have to roll with it. So on May 30th, 2014, these two girls and their friend Peyton Lerntner? I can't pronounce names. Point is, all three girls went to a sleepover. I believe it was at Morgan's house. So Peyton showed up to this slumber party. She had a good time. She was completely unaware of these other girls' bad intentions. It was just I'm pretty sure they were celebrating a birthday, so it was just a happy time. These were her best friends. She was completely unaware. And then the next morning the girls said, hey, do you want to come for a walk? And she was like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's go for a walk. So they went for a walk into the woods, which was near their house. And then Anissa suggested that they play hide and seek. So the girls started playing hide and seek and they kind of scattered, but at one point Peyton sort of fell in front of the other two girls and Morgan was counting or whatever, and when Peyton fell in front, Morgan decided she had a chance to show Anissa what she was hiding under her jacket, which was a large kitchen knife. So Morgan showed Anissa this large kitchen knife that she had under her sweater, and one of the policemen who actually showed up on the scene did an interview and said that when he questioned Peyton about it, she said the knife is about this big, the knife was this big, the knife was this big, and she wasn't talking about the handle, the size of it in total. That's how big the blade was. It was fucking huge, so I'll put a photo of that up as well. So as Morgan began to count, Anissa headed towards Peyton, where she then tried to tackle her, and she basically got her onto the ground and struggled to hold her there. She was trying to keep her down, and Peyton fought back, thank God. Not that it really helped her, but good on her. So Morgan, being the little crazy that she is, attacked her with the knife.
Morgan said, "Don't be afraid, I'm only a little kitty cat," and jumped on top of Bella and stabbed her repeatedly.
So Morgan actually stabbed her 19 times, and she only missed major artery by the width of a hair, like a strand of hair, like that. You can't even see it because so fucking close. Like, this girl must have had an angel watching over her. Like, thank the Lord Jesus, fucking praise Satan. I'm talking shit. Okay, thank God, basically. She could have been severely dead. So it was said that Anissa held her down as best as she could, and Morgan stabbed her over and over and over. So she stabbed her in the chest, the stomach, the arms, the legs as well, which is why. And after the assault took place, basically the two 12-year-old girls just fucked off. They just left, washed themselves with the blood. They didn't know whether or not Peyton was alive or dead. They just, what is that? Yikes. So they packed a little bag and they just set out into the woods because they thought that Slender Man was now going to pick them up and take them to his mansion, I guess. And they actually cleaned themselves in like the Walmart bathrooms. So they were caught on CCTV footage, them cleaning themselves and then leaving, heading into the woods. So when they were apprehended by police, which didn't take long because there's two 12-year-old girls walking around the woods, their stories were, I mean, they were consistent, but they were sort of inconsistent in believability because they claimed that Slender Man had threatened them and that they did it to help their families because Slender Man had threatened to kill their whole families if they didn't do it. And one of the girls actually said to police interrogators that she was less afraid of hurting Peyton than she was of what Slender Man would do to her if she didn't. But then, on another hand, they both claimed that they wanted to be a part of his mansion and that if they did this for him, he would give them lifetime of riches, live in the mansion, be a part of his army. So it's kind of inconsistent because there's a very big difference between I want to be rich and live in a mansion with like a creepy faceless guy and I'm scared to death of this creepy faceless guy that's going to hurt my family, so I need to protect my family. Like, there's kind of a fucking difference. Like, that's kind of an inconsistency. So I don't think that Slender Man, not saying that there is a Slender Man, like obviously there's not a fucking Slender Man, but if they were delusional enough to think that there was a Slender Man, I don't think that they thought that Slender Man, this sounds so weird, I don't think that they thought that Slender Man had threatened their family. I think that was just a bullshit thing to be like, don't hurt us, like, don't put us in jail. Back to Peyton. So poor little darling, like, it breaks my fucking heart. She's 12 years old. She's just been attacked by her two best friends. She's bleeding, screaming in agony. She managed to crawl out of this sort of bushy, woodsy area that she was in, and a cyclist, thank God, saw her and helped her. So I'm gonna put in some tapes of the girls' original confessions. Basically, these clips are not normal. This is a 12-year-old girl, and the first thing she does is say, yeah, I stabbed her. I went like this. Stab, 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 stab.
Stab, 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 stab.
What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck are you doing? And then after that, they actually get her to put on the coat she was wearing at the time of the attack, and it has like blood spots on it, and they took photos of her, and you see her literally go like look at me in my bloody coat, like she like poses.
You can hear Morgan ask what's happened to Peyton using her nickname, Bella.
And then at one point in the interview, she's like, is she dead? And he was like, I don't know. And she was like, what? And he says, I don't know, they took her to hospital. And she's like, what? And then she's like, never mind, I was just wondering, I was just curious. Like, did she freak out because she wanted her to be dead? And she was like, wait, what? She's not dead? Like, I stabbed her though. Like, what the fuck? And this is Morgan.
Is she dead?
I don't know. She wants to take her to the hospital.
What? I was just wondering.
So Morgan pretty much made out that it was Anissa who believed in Slender Man. It was Anissa who was scared. It was Anissa who wanted to do it. It was Anissa who told her to go ballistic and go crazy.
Go ballistic, go crazy.
She didn't pin it on Anissa and say she had nothing to do with it, but she definitely insinuated that Anissa was sort of the mastermind behind it, basically, which I don't necessarily believe to be true. Anissa was newer to the school, she was a newer friend, and she did believe in Slender Man. That part is absolutely true, and you can see that she goes on and on and on about Slender Man and how she was scared of him and how she did do this. And I mean, it's possible that she believed she would either be hurt or get the mansion and whatnot, but I think there was a very big difference between the two girls. Is Anissa seemed sort of schizophrenic in the way that she seemed mentally unwell, right? And Morgan didn't seem as though she was distressed in any way, as though this Slenderman person scared her, as if she really saw this Slenderman person. She didn't seem distressed. She seemed
very relaxed. I mean, she's at a police department and she's covered in blood. And this is like a normal day for her.
nuts in the way that was fun. Like, nuts in the way that she was like, I'll pin it all on my friend and say that it was all her, but I'm the one who stabbed her though. But she told me to. But like, she's like one of those people who lead from behind. You know what I mean? Like, she's kind of pulling the strings but making everything seem like it was the other girl doing it. Like, this Morgan chick, I don't like her. She gives me the heebie-jeebies. Don't kill me, wherever you are. So the trial went forward in 2017, which is 3 years after the events, and Anissa pleaded guilty to attempted second-degree murder. So in December 2017, Anissa was sentenced to 25 years in a psychiatric hospital. She was found to have been mentally ill at the time of the attack. So if things stick to the course, she should stay in a psychiatric hospital until she's around 37 years old, which, I mean, it's a long time, but it's also a short time, because you get out at 37, you've still got a long life to live. And if you haven't overcome what you need to overcome, if you're happy to stab your best friend at 12 years old, what are you going to be willing to do at 40? So Morgan Gaser pleaded guilty to first-degree attempted murder, and she was sentenced to spend 40 years in a psychiatric hospital. Morgan definitely got a higher punishment, if you can even really call that a punishment. I don't know if it is, because if it's a psychiatric unit, surely they're looking after him, you know what I mean? I don't know. So they were both psychologically analysed, and Anissa was diagnosed with depression, delusional disorder, and schizophrenia. She definitely did have mental issues that she had to deal with. She had a lot of problems, and the psychologist that actually diagnosed her said that she had a diminished ability to determine what is real and what is not. Morgan was also diagnosed with schizophrenia, as well as defiant disorder. So basically, defiant disorder, for those of you who don't know, it's a childhood disorder, and it's defined as a pattern of hostile, disobedient, and defiant behavior directed at adults or other authority figures. It means that she's a very vindictive, argumentative, defiant person. I wasn't aware that there was a disorder for that. I thought that was more a personality trait, or like a side effect of other disorders. I didn't realize that it was classed as its own disorder, so that's kind of nutty, but yeah. So after they were sentenced, Peyton's mum actually came out and said a couple of statements about the situation. She said that while Peyton is doing incredibly well, considering what has happened to her,
The whole time, Peyton was screaming in agony.
she struggled to go to sleep by herself after the incident. She was afraid of the dark. She was afraid to be alone. She said that she slept with scissors under her pillowcase because she was terrified. She said that they actually had to create this sort of special knock because their rooms, the mum and Peyton's rooms, were like on either side of the wall, so they would knock to each other, and basically it signified, you're safe, I love you, I'm here, like. And that just breaks my heart, bro. Like, a 12-year-old being scared to go to bed, not because she's like dreaming of monsters or something, or she thinks there's someone in the closet, because she literally was stabbed 19 times by her friends. You bitches think you've got trust issues. Can you imagine being stabbed by your best friend? Like, imagine the trust issues you would have. Imagine, like, oh, bro, like, I just feel for that girl so much, man. Like, that's horrible. She was left with over 20 scars that are pretty gnarly scars. They stretch across her whole body. And both her and her mum said that they had no choice about being thrust into this insane new life that they have to get used to, but they said that they have no choice but to deal with it and do the best that they can, and that's what they're trying to do. And I'm so grateful that Peyton has such a fantastic mum that's willing to help her get through this. Good on you, mama. Like, whew, that would be ridiculously hard. I can hear people and I don't want them to hear me like being like stab, 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 stab. So that is the story of the Slender Man stabbing. I hope you enjoy this video, even though it's like creepy. It's just weird, like it sits weirdly with me because you know there's bad people in the world, you know there's like mentally disturbed people in the world, you know there's people who like are willing to stab people in the world. I feel like most people don't realize that there's like 12-year-old girls who like look all friendly and nice and happy and go to school and like play with Barbies are willing to go out and stab their best friends. Like, that's pretty fucking mental. So it just doesn't sit well with me. The fact that it was a 12-year-old girl, ugh. I feel for her. I feel for her family. I feel for her mum. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this video. Make sure you subscribe and give the video a like if you feel like you wanna. But if not, your mum's a hoe. Just kidding. She's not a hoe. If there's any other stories you want me to look into or cover, let me know, because I'm down for anything. And yeah, stay safe. Don't trust 12-year-old girls. Don't believe in Slender Man. His mansion wasn't real. Stay groovy. Just kidding. I'm not Kato Potato. Bye. Okay, bye guys. Need to go get a coffee because I'm wicked smart. Jordan Belfort.